JCT for Education.
Good evening, this is Juank, JCT for Education for you. I shouldn't be blocking our logo of JCT for Education here. And first of all, today is Sunday, should be a relaxed time of the evening just to chill, to talk. And let me say hello to everybody that is joining us. This video will be saved here on IGTV TV, on JCT for Education. We will also put it on YouTube. So this is an opportunity to say thank you to everyone that has made this possible. JCT for Education just turned 10 years old, 10 years of age. We're just babies. We've been around since 2011 and how it all began. So I just made a few notes here. Intro, I was born in Colombia. If you heard of Medellin, Colombia, that's where I'm from. Actually, a town next to it, it's called Envigado. And around, I shouldn't be saying this, but I will, around 32, 33 years ago, I was telling my parents that I wanted to come to the United States to study my major. My major, I wanted to study advertising, wanted to study marketing, I wanted to do my MBA. I wanted to dream big and actually accomplish so many of my goals, which I did. And without no English, I went to what we call a binational school. Binational school means that they don't teach you English, just the basics. And I graduated from high school in 1989. Then my mom, she actually told me that I will be studying engineering, mechanical engineering, which I'm like, why? I really want to be in the marketing industry, design, fashion. And actually I was working, that was my part-time job back in Colombia. I was working at Informa Models, and the agency right now is 33 years of age, owned by Chacha Posada and Margarita Gomez, which I sent a big hello. And that's what I wanted to. But I was always telling that parents become our career evaluators. And back in the day, and still now that I've seen thousands and thousands of students, parents are big influencers in their son and daughter's careers. So let's go back, and I had this conversation with my mom. Mom told me, nope, you're gonna study mechanical engineering and you will be studying in Colombia. Back in my mind, I was actually thinking I want to study in the United States. During my teens years, I was able to travel to the US, and I did all the shaboon. I went to see parks, the theme parks. I had an uncle in New York City. Every summer I will come to New York City and actually work at a ballet parking. I was painting, I was cleaning, and I got to see a little bit of New York City while my English in high school was really bad. So I had this deep conversation when I graduated from high school with my mom, and she said, Juan Camilo, you don't have an option, but you will be enrolled at a mechanical engineering program. And you don't have an option. Where you are living in your parents' household, there are rules, regulations, policies. And so I said, okay, I have to enroll and study what my mom told me, mechanical engineer. Actually in Medellin, Colombia, and my parents were transferred to the United States, actually Miami, Florida. Well, they were in Miami, I was in Colombia, and I was apart from my sister, and I will attend every single class every day where I was learning and acquiring skills, math skills, and you name it, AutoCAD and Photoshop and things related to mechanical engineering. But my heart was telling me that's not my major. So I had these long conversations throughout the years with my parents, and they were very stubborn that I will continue with my engineering degree, and I was very stubborn that I will not want to study engineering and I will switch majors. So my mom and my stepfather, they were moved to Mexico from Miami, and I went to visit them from Colombia. And I say, my mom said, you know what, how are you doing in school? I say, Mom, I'm not doing quite well. Actually, I failed every single class. And she said, oh my gosh, what happened? And she said, probably it's because you're not living with us. And I said, well, perhaps. So they asked me to move from Colombia to Mexico City, where I went to see the campus Autónoma de Mexico. And my mom told me, that's gonna be your new campus, amazing university in the city of Mexico. But I realized that I did not want to enroll in mechanical engineering. So I went back home after that morning visit to the campus, and it was lunchtime. It was my stepfather, my little sister, my mom and I. And my mom said, how did it go? I say, Mom, I'm studying mechanical engineering. And she goes like, well, you don't have an option. And I say, yes, I have another option. I will study advertising and public relations. And she said, well, if you have that option, you have to leave the house. And guess what? I left the house. That was 30 years ago when I left the house, 31 years ago. And my journey took me from Colombia, Mexico, Miami to New York City. And for those students that are watching right now, I don't encourage you leaving the house. It's just like very adventurous of me. Probably it took me more negotiation skills with my parents, maybe having a good advisor, good mentor, you name it. But that year in New York City was very, I would say, it was a learning experience. I was 19 years of age, almost turning 20. And I lived with an uncle. And my uncle Javier was an incredible guy. He opened the doors to me. Remember, I used to go to New York City every summer to work. So I will go back to high school and I will have some pocket money for the whole year. And then when I was in New York City, my uncle laid out the rules really clearly. He said, I don't care what you study, but in 2 weeks, you're gonna have to have a job and you're gonna have to pay me $90 per week for a corner. It wasn't even a room, it was a corner. It was a small apartment in Flushing. And I was like, okay, the dream of working hard for your own education. So New York City, I was doing actually valet parking. I enrolled at a ESL program in Queens, New York Language Center. And if Sammy, my teacher, is watching, Sammy, thank you. Part of my English is because of you. So I came to New York City with $75, a backpack full of dreams, and I always wanted to study, but I knew it was a hard journey. So taking my classes in Queens from 9 o'clock in the morning until 1 p.m. and then jump into the train to go to Manhattan and work from 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. and just go back home to Flushing. And my day off was on Tuesday. So pretty much you're saving. And nowadays we know the cost of higher education is prohibitive. So I saved $6,000, and the options in New York City were limited. I didn't have a college advisor that will tell me a little bit about all the institutions of higher ed in the US. I had a mentor in Colombia which told me about New York and the state of Iowa. And I remember I kept that brochure from Clark College, nowadays Clark University. So became good friends with all the clients at the valet parking. And I remember a cardiologist. He became a really good friend, mentor. And he said, Camilo, my full name is Juan Camilo, but people will call me Camilo. I say, Camilo, how much money have you saved? And I say $6,000. And he goes like, you know that you cannot pay for your whole education with that money. I say, I know. And he goes, it is time for you to call your mom. I'm like, but she kicked me out of the house. It's been a year. And he goes, you call your mom, and I guarantee she's gonna fly to New York and she's gonna pay for your education, or at least she's gonna lend you the money to study. So going back and forth from Manhattan to Queens on train number 7, I was thinking about the words of wisdom from this cardiologist, which I wish I remember his name. And I said, should I call my mom? Should I call my mom? And I was very upset because back in the day, they wouldn't support me to study my major. But I said, it's my mom and I should be calling her. So 8 days later, put myself strengthen up, and I said, okay, I'm calling my mom. That was on my day off on a Tuesday. Remember, Elton John was playing Cold Cold Heart, and I said, I gotta call her. So I pick up the phone. Back in the day, we have calling cards, and call my mom. She answers, hello, and I say, Mom, and she says, son, and we start crying. Both of us, she in Mexico, me in Flushing, New York, and she goes, I'll be there tomorrow. So came with my stepfather the following day to New York City. I picked him up at the airport, and we stayed at the Grand Hyatt, remember, in Manhattan. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so real. They're back. They are here to support me. But the cardiologist told me, when you take them out for dinner that night, you will tell your mom, here's the money that I save, and can I borrow the money for my education? So one of the learnings from this anecdote, from the story, is that we're so used to it to give, and then we're entitled to receive. And it's our parents' responsibility to give us. Students, hold on. Yes, they were the ones that were able to bring us to planet Earth. They were the ones that give us the opportunity to be here, that gave us life, but it is our opportunity as well to grow up. So students say, oh, but my father, my mom, they should do this, should do that. What about you? What about you? What about your dreams? And you will see the theme of these huts is my heart, is for you. It's all about dreams coming through. You see the children behind here, they also have dreams. And we all have different circumstances, but we all should pursue our dreams. So I saved some money, and I asked my parents, I want to study advertising. I want to study marketing. Could I borrow some money from you guys? And they did. My mom grabbed the $6,000. She said, okay, and what are you going to study? And she goes, I go and I say, I want to study in the state of Iowa. And she goes, Iowa, where is that? And I say, well, it's in the center of the United States, very close to Chicago. And I see Danny Castro. Danny, hello. Thank you for showing up. And I say to my mom, I'm going to Iowa. Number one, my English in New York City, coming from Colombia, was horrible. I was not able to learn much English. My accent was very strong. And I really wanted to get in the middle of the United States, learn about the culture, and learn my major, marketing, advertising, communications. Students, there are 2,700 colleges and universities in the United States. Here we have Daniela Castro, student from La Juanfe. Daniela Castro, un abrazo. Thank you for showing up. And if you have questions, send them to me right here. I can answer them. And the live today is how it all began, cómo empezó todo. So I go to the state of Iowa, lived there for 8 years. Actually, I studied my first bachelor's degree, and that was in communications. And then I said, I want to study business, marketing. So I couldn't ask for more money. I worked myself out. I was bartender. I worked at restaurants. I valet, you name it. I did translation. I taught engineers Spanish courses, always saving money to pay for my education. So once I finished that first bachelor's, with the help of a lot of people, including my alma mater, Clark College, I moved into the next bachelor's. It was a bachelor's in business administration, concentration in marketing. And then I was lucky enough to get a job in 1995 with my alma mater, with Clark University, where I have to work and travel around the world. So with the job at Clark, the job at Lynn University, my second alma mater for my master's in business administration, I was able to travel to 89 countries. So this life, which I never done it before, to explain a little bit about how it all began, how JCT for Education began, is to put into scope that there has been 27 years of my journey into higher education, that I've been blessed by having mentors in my life that have been able to help me supporting my dream. There's still children, surely they have dreams, and students around the world, they have dreams, and they're possible. And here at JCT for Education, during the last 10 years, we've been able to help over 1,000 students from 40 different countries building their dreams. So when parents call us, because now we are a team, we are not a large operation by no means, we are a boutique operation. We get phone calls from South Africa, we get calls from Egypt, we get calls from Armenia, from Moscow, we get calls from the United States, from Colombia. All this experience throughout the years from the whole team, myself, help us so much to help the student and the parents navigating the system. Now, myself, I have visited over 3 college campuses in the United States. Then I've been throughout Europe, all over Europe. Do we know everything? Is impossible. Can we help you making the best decisions throughout the college process? Absolutely. Guess what? Because we've been there. And one thing that we learn in this college process is discipline, vision, and being very positive and optimistic. There is always gonna be one place for one of you. Now, nowadays, parents are very involved. Back in the day, 30 years ago, when I was searching for colleges and universities, 31, there was no parent involvement, just a few. And parents will dictate what you will study. That's about it. You apply, you send your applications, etc., etc. Nowadays, these same spots in these colleges and universities remain the same. So for instance, my alma mater, Clark College, still the same number of students being enrolled every year as 30 years ago. And that's the case for many colleges and universities. And that's why the world population keeps going up. More students want to go to colleges and universities. And then we get stuck into the rankings, which was actually founded by the beautiful magazine US News, and then LA Times and Hong Kong Times, and it's all about rankings. So parents, if you're watching here for a second, I will tell you, and I tell the students this, when we were growing up, the word rankings wasn't as strong as it is today. And I encourage you guys to watch this 23-minute documentary from Malcolm Gladwell, where he talks about the rankings. And Malcolm Gladwell, who's written Tipping Point, David and Goliath, and so forth, when he went to the Google conference for all these top executives, he said, you're doing something wrong. You're putting your hires, you're putting your recruiting efforts to the top schools, where you're not putting your recruiting efforts into the top students, the top 20% of those students at community colleges, public universities, and so forth. So throughout these years, I was able to work for Clark College, now Clark University. Then I worked 12 years for Lynn University, where I became director of admissions. Again, thanks to these 2 institutions, I was able to travel to 89 countries. So I've been able to see absolutely everything. High schools, colleges, and so forth. There is one thing that you cannot teach in college, and it's called common sense. So when I was hiring people for the admissions team, for the JCT for Education team, what I look I don't look for the institutions they graduate from. What I look for is common sense, problem solvers, and that's what we need today. Problem solvers. How would you talk to a parent? How would you talk to a student? And how would you take that student to the next level to fulfill that dream? So we get to see students with perfect GPAs, amazing SAT scores, ACTs, but we also get to see students that were not able to achieve a 3.0 on a scale of 4. And guess what? We love working with those students as well. When I was in high school, I didn't know that I had dyslexia. And I was diagnosed with dyslexia my third year in college. So we do a JCTEducation with my colleagues. We are able to deep in and find out things that many professionals, they've never been able to. And it's because we listen, we pay attention, and we've been trained for years with phenomenal, I will call it masters. I remember Dr. Glines, the head of the Learning Center at Lynn University. She will teach us a lot of things, a lot of skills in how to pick up on some type of learning cognitive behavior that not even at high schools can pick those up. So all in all, how it all began? It all began in a little town, now a big town in Colombia, Envigado, Antioquia, which is adjacent next to Medellin, with no English. I could barely say honestly, and I will say it now very proudly, number 36 or 33. Because every year when you were moved from kindergarten to first to second to third, you are given different numbers. And I am Tamayo, so Tamayo was always given 32, 33, 34, 36. So I'm not joking, I was not even able to say 30. I was not even able to understand for my high school career anything in English. I will come to the United States with my parents, solo, go to New York City during my high school years. I wouldn't understand any English. My uncle will say to me, get me a cup of coffee, and I'm like, what is a cup of coffee? So I get into the shoes of hundreds and thousands of immigrants from around the world that they don't know any language and they adapt to that language. And on top of that, they continue achieving their dreams, and they say language is not a barrier, nothing is a barrier, but dream is the one that I need to achieve. So this is how it all began. When I was a little child, I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to meet children and help students from around the world. So I could say that I'm achieving my dream on helping students from around the world. I could say that I was able to learn English. In college, I also picked up French, which I say, why not? And then when I travel to Asia, I say, hey, why don't we learn Japanese? I've been adventuring a little bit of Mandarin. I will say it's one of the toughest one. Korean, very tough. But again, if you want to do it, you can do it. So all in all, this is how it all began. We are 10 years of age. I can't wait to see what else is in the store. I will tell you, it's been hard work, long hours, long days, but always putting a beautiful smile to our students, to our parents, and positive attitude. Because you see the heart that we have here, that's what we pour into our job, and that's what we are so successful at what we do. People call us from around the world, and it is amazing to sit at my office, in my living room, and getting mostly WhatsApp messages, text messages, and emails from parents around the world saying, can we talk to you? Can we learn a little bit about JCTEducation? How do you do it? And colleagues from colleges and universities, independent counselors, high school counselors say, what do you guys do? And I said, honestly, love. We love what we do, but we love our students. We love our parents. And I'm getting a little bit of gray hair right here. And I don't know if it's from the students or the parents, but it's age. It's the nature of aging, which is awesome. But all this wisdom, I guess it helps us helping our students. So this is how it all began. And for those of you that know me, you know that I never stop creating opportunities, and I won't stop creating outlets that will help our students enhancing their dreams. We've been to Fiji, we've been to Colombia, we've been to Italy, we've been all over the world with JCT for Education. So we are in the middle of a pandemic and we are facing some challenges. One thing that I will tell you, parents and students are looking into education more than ever before. A lot of people are saving money because education is the way to go. Some students don't have any means, but I will tell students, keep studying really hard. When colleges and universities are looking for those transcripts, they love to see your work. They love to see your resume. They love to see what you're putting in. And there is a college and university for you somewhere around the world. And not necessarily, and I will say this with very humble, not necessarily is the United States, not necessarily is Europe. Right now, we have opportunities all over the world, in Latin America, in Africa, Middle East, Asia. I mean, there are colleges and universities all over the world, institutions that are, they will be so happy to have you. So the world, the access to education, it is incredible. And right now, because of the pandemic, we are in the middle of this transformation, this way of learning that I've been telling my colleagues at those traditional campuses around the world, say, you gotta pay a lot of attention because the world is changing and colleges and universities, they need to adjust to that change. So here we are, 10 years of age. This is how it all began. Envigado, Antioquia, Colombia. From there to New York, to Iowa, back here where I live in South Florida. And we got 10, 20, 30, I don't know, you name it, how many years to come. But we're here, and the students, we're here for you. Parents, it's not an easy road, but it's not that hard either. You just need to have your heart open and things will come through. This message also will be done, this live will be done in Spanish. We know that we have a lot of Spanish viewers, so I promise you it's coming up in Spanish. But I wanted to house this as archive these words for you to enjoy it, to get some inspiration, and to say, we were there. For those parents, we were there, we were children, high school students, you were children. We all have dreams, and we gotta pursue our dreams. This is Juank Tamayo, JCT for Education, for you. Thank you for watching, and please, if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Remember, follow your heart. Love you all, and thank you for watching.
JCT for Education.